Hello creation, hope you're well. I've not written anything. It's a beautiful day today, and I'm just sat, and I keep looking out over this beautiful countryside. And sometimes it's just nice to sit in silence, isn't it? We can have that, where we can just be over vocal with ourselves. We can be over vocal with ourselves, whether that's in our minds or whether we just chunter away to spirit or to ourselves or whatever, whichever way. And we can sometimes not appreciate the silence, and that is vastly important. Can't emphasize how important it is for that time to be taken out so that we can just sit in silence and listen and just be. Last night it's on the table here, but there's a friend of mine who I've known many years. I met him in hospital actually. An old biker. He'd had a bike crash. He'd come off his bike and got his leg mangled, and he's never been. He's always had a walking stick since. But what an artist! He makes walking sticks and plaques, placards, and he made me my totems. To be honest, I can't remember if I've shown you these before, but I will show you them actually. I'll show them. Just, please forgive me if I've shown them before, but he carved this. Now, that's the yin with the wolf on it and the drum, the Indian chief and the wolf howling at the moon. And this is it's actually this, which is an oak tree from a place where I once lived. I was in that house for 21 years. And this is the yang. And at one stage, these were being made for myself, and so yin and yang, and someone who I did think was, at that time, was my opposite, other half. But it turned out not to be so. So I didn't actually pass it over because I couldn't, because they're sacred, And I dare say that I would have been thought bad of for saying that I was getting it made for her, but when she convinced me that she wasn't, then how could I have possibly have handed it over, regardless of promising it, because it's sacred. So I don't beat myself up about that at all. It's just how it was. But anyway, my point is that I'd met this guy in hospital. It's going back some years now, and we struck up a friendship, and it was anyway. So he actually carved these for me, and like I say, he makes walking sticks and plaques and anything that can be, carved, and he's just an exceptional artist, He's genuine. and he's an old biker, and he's like an old wizard, you know. He is. He's awesome. And I was talking about silence, actually, wasn't I? And taking in that time for silence so that we can respect, recharge, reevaluate, and whatever else begins with re. You know. But that's what we need to do sometimes. And I'm lucky enough to be able to have this time, which has been forced upon, I know. And they say it, don't they? Spirit, the Lord, whatever works in God, works in universe, works in mysterious ways, whatever name you want to give it. But this has been forced time out, and it's time out that I personally needed for my journey. And also all these videos, you know, all this writing that I've done in this period of time that I've been off, and all these videos, had my circumstances not been as they are, and have been, and still are, I wouldn't have been able to put the output of this. I mean, there's about 540 videos over, well, there's close on 1100 videos over 2 platforms now, within the last within 12 months, or around about 12 months. You know, if that's not a calling, when it's all of a spiritual nature, and it's all, you know, I don't know what is. You know, do we choose the way in which we live? Is it in our DNA? Is it programmed in our cells that we are going to live a particular way? You know, or that we are going to wake up particular attributes or skills or whatever throughout our life when we get to particular stages? There's a lot of particular going off in there. There's a lot of particulars in there. Yeah, but it's all relevant. The questions that are relevant questions to ask. Should you be interested in self-growth? You know? I want to know more about myself. I do. I want to know more about myself. I want to know what I can achieve through meditations, because I can't say that I don't just fall asleep virtually every time I try, you know. And as I was saying previously, sometimes we can just try too hard, can't we? Which is what this all relates to. The sitting in silence, you know, the stilling of the mind. I was listening to a little bit of Alan Watts this morning, and he was saying we do try too hard sometimes to make things happen, and he was so right. You know, the body has a way of healing itself, you know, but yet we try to force it to heal sometimes, or we try to force things to happen, when really all we need to do is just have faith in that what created us and our being, as it were, and just leave it to divine intervention, I suppose, or the natural flow of life. Love it, it's deep, isn't it? Right, anyway, sit in silence. I just want to say this to you as I'm wanting to say all the time now. Wherever you are in the world, if there's no love around you, you'll be that love. Make a difference. Take care.